After nearly 10 years of photography, my entire camera setup is one body and two lenses. But here's the thing, it's always been like this. For a good reason. I started with a Canon Rebel and a kit zoom and a cheap prime. Now I shoot with higher end gear. The body got better, the glass got sharper, but the formula never changed. And you can apply this formula at any budget, whether you're just starting out or you've been shooting for years. Let's start with the workhorse. This is the Canon R5. This is the camera I use for personal work and jobs. I don't shoot with anything else. I've used this for the last 4 years or so, and I love it. It's got all the modern technology, an awesome electronic viewfinder, great autofocus and high ISO. It's got weather sealing and fantastic battery life. It's a workhorse, does everything pretty great camera. I know it inside and out, so I don't have to think about dials and settings and menus, which means I'm 100% focused on creating. And before you think, of course your photos look good with an R5. My original Rebel from years ago still made fantastic photos with the right lens. Some of them are still on my website today. I was just hitting its limits after 5 or 6 years of using it. The R5 removes the friction, but it's not where the magic happens. That's in composition, lighting, and storytelling. Before I had weather sealing, if I wanted to take the Rebel out in less than ideal weather, like rain or snow, I just used one of these. This is basically a rain cover for your camera. It's got 2 hand slots, so you can still hold the camera directly and press all the buttons, and it keeps your camera dry. I know it doesn't look pretty, but it does the job. Here's a picture of me from like 6 years ago in Banff shooting with it on a rainy day. That's my camera bag's cover on my head because I didn't put my rain jacket on. Sometimes you just have to make it work. And if you're wondering how I'm filming this right now, I borrowed a second camera from a friend. We make it work. This is my zoom lens of choice these days, the 24-105. Again, a great all-rounder does everything lens. I think you can see the through line here. This is on my camera a lot of the time when I'm traveling. It covers the whole range, wide at 24, medium at 50, tight at 85, and up. So it's incredibly flexible, and it's quite small and lightweight. It's an f4 aperture, which for me is plenty because most of the time I'm shooting at f8 and up anyway for more depth of field. I like to show more context of the place my subject is in, so I'm rarely in need of a super wide aperture. But if I do find myself in a lower light situation, it does also have image stabilization, so I can use those slower shutter speeds too. I use it for photo, I use it for video, and it does both great. I have some other gear for jobs, lights, a tripod, all the technical stuff, but the camera and lens are the same for personal and professional. It started with the kit lens I got with my Canon Rebel. After a couple years, I upgraded to the Sigma 18-35, which was one of the best crop sensor zoom lenses at the time. And I shot a ton of stuff with this lens and the Rebel. Again, it was my does everything lens. And when I went mirrorless, it became the 24-105. But the real learning happened with my third piece, the prime lens, because that's where I figured out what kind of photographer I actually am. The final piece of the kit is my prime lens of choice. This balances out my zoom lens when I want a specific look, portability, or low light performance. For that, I use the 35 1.8, a new addition that just replaced the 50 this past summer. This is my small, everyday lens when I'm with friends, but it's also been my go-to personal work lens that I've used this year. It's tiny, so it's easy to carry around. I don't always want a bigger zoom hanging from my shoulder when I'm just shooting casually, and 35 has really quickly become my favorite focal length. Also, I like only being able to use one focal length for my personal work. It's kind of the natural way I see things now, and it lets me focus on composition and lighting rather than should I use this lens or that lens. I find I get the most creative when I have to zoom with my feet. When I'm traveling, I bring both lenses for versatility, but the 35 is so small it's almost negligible in my camera bag anyway. This prime lens slot is where I've learned the most about how I like to shoot. I started with a 50 because everyone says get a nifty 50, and it's a totally worthwhile lens. At one point, I thought I needed an 85 for portraits and that compressed street look. I bought it, used it for a couple years, then I realized it's ridiculously heavy and way too tight for the way that my style was evolving. So I went back to the classic 50. Some of my favorite photos ever are shot on this lens that I got for 150 bucks on day one. And I stuck with it until I picked up the 35 this year. I went from 50 to 35 because I wanted more context in my photos, the ability to shoot indoors with limited space, and I'm comfortable with getting closer to subjects now. So it gives me a real in-the-moment feeling to my images, which is what I'm going for now. Every time I swapped that prime lens, I wasn't fixing a gear problem. I was learning what kind of photographer I actually am. The gear just caught up to those realizations, and that's why the formula has stayed the same for almost 10 years now. Not because I was stubborn, but because I was learning how I actually see things. I basically used the gear until it was starting to hold me back, preventing me from creating what I wanted to create. At that point, I would upgrade, but I used everything for at least a couple years before buying a new lens or camera body. At this point, would I change anything? Probably not. The core setup of one zoom and one prime will likely stay the same. It's pretty dialed in to the way that I see things. I might go from the 24-105 to the 24-70 in the future, simply for the f2.8, but that lens is also a lot bigger than this one. Do I feel like I've missed shots because of this minimal kit? No, not at all. This covers exactly how I see. I don't shoot wildlife or sports or weddings enough to warrant owning more niche lenses. There are photographers who need specialty glass because they do those things full time. This formula isn't universal, but for the way that I shoot, this is it. The few times a year I might need something else, I rent it or borrow it from a friend. Would I like to try other cameras and lenses? Sure. I'd love to own a Leica one day, but I don't need it right now. This exact setup runs about $7,000 Canadian. Most of that is in the body, but I've been shooting for almost 10 years and I do this professionally, so that investment makes sense for me. The skeleton can be recreated at any budget. As a beginner, a crop sensor, the kit zoom, and a cheap 50mm or 35, which is closer to what 50 looks like on a full-frame camera. Maybe 1500, or even less if you go used. This is what I bought on day one. At the mid-tier, you could go for an entry-level full-frame like the Canon R8 with a 24-105 and that prime lens, around $4,000. But ultimately, the formula stays the same. One camera you know inside and out with a versatile zoom, and one prime that matches your style. Because here's what I've learned after 10 years. More gear doesn't make you a better photographer, but knowing the kit that you do have inside and out does. That way you can stay focused on shooting. So if you're just starting out or you're looking at your gear bag thinking, do I need more? Maybe you don't. Start with the formula. One camera, one zoom, one prime. Shoot with that for a year, maybe 2, then figure out if you need something else or want to swap things around. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out last week's video for a 4-step system to find your personal style in photography. And let me know in the comments, what's your setup? Are you minimal or do you have a bag full of lenses? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.